My name's Nick Holmes. I'm principal at the Ferrers Academy in Burton-on-Trent. The academy is a large academy. It's got over 2,100 students, ranging from year 7 up to year 13. We have a one-to-one iPad programme for all of the students in key stages 4 and 5.
The new principal had a vision that was to really enthuse teachers and students through some sort of mobile devices.
We looked at actually what did we want to do to improve the teaching and learning in the academy.
The minute we got our hands on an iPad, we could just see enormous learning potential. It's a very powerful but very simple device, so anyone could come in at any level and immediately find great uses for teaching and learning. But our vision originally had been all around giving students access to quality engaging resources, digital resources 24/7, about harnessing the potential of technology to improve things like feedback, modelling, and to build that into our teaching and learning cycle. It's easy to do a lot of the technology things and the rollout, it's just time and money, but getting the learning right is probably the biggest thing most schools don't do.
Understanding the Ferrers vision was key for us. We then took some time to work with Greg and the senior leadership team to look at a sustainable plan, initially for year 1, but building it through to year 3. 5 years on, the Ferrers are now a regional training centre, but importantly an Apple Distinguished School, which actually puts them on the map globally. They're a lighthouse account for academia and for Apple, and largely due to the fact that of their best practice and implementing that into their education system. So that is going to really enhance our partnership moving forwards.
What we've been able to do is pursue a much better route into independent learning. We've been able to create our own digital resources that are available 24/7. And it really has revolutionised marking at the academy, particularly through the Shobi app.
We got quite frustrated with traditional textbooks, that they're almost immediately out of date, they're expensive, they don't do some things very well. So we consulted a number of universities on our ideas and approaches, and then we began to produce a series of digital books. So we've now got nearly 30 interactive books on the iBook store. They've had over 25, nearly 30,000 downloads. And the great thing is with those digital books, we can update them overnight, add new material, change things if we need to. We can duplicate them, provide different versions.
We do ensure that every student is issued with an iPad. They pay us £1 a week over the 2 years of either Key Stage 4 or Key Stage 5. And then at the end of that, they could return the iPad, or there's a fee to pay at the end should they wish to keep it.
Nothing goes to waste. Spurs, iPads for teaching assistants, iPads for student teachers. We will literally use everything. If we can't use it, we will sell it, even if it's for parts.
We have cards that we can check in, so we use them to register. There's iPads all over the school, at the entrance, by the front gates, by the front doors, so they're really easy to log into at various different locations around the school.
I do think, what would I do without my iPads, especially Key Stage 4, because they are so good for coursework.
I had to come here. It has actually kept me here, because why would I go anywhere else when my life is so much easier with an iPad?
Seeing them get more engaged and be more engaged in the lessons because of the iPad and the use of the iPad's been amazing.
I had a young lady who would not communicate with me in the lesson time, clearly suffered lots of anxiety. She'd sit covering her work. Within the iPad, she would submit me everything. She'd send me messages every week, ask me lots of questions. So the iPad for her was that way of communicating, and she communicated really well through it.
If we hand in an essay Wednesday night, we can expect it to be marked by Thursday night without a problem, because teachers can just go on Shobi, can just mark it, give us feedback, then we can do that feedback maybe that night, and then we get it remarked on the Friday night. It's really quick and easy to use.
I think it's just another source of information that you can use to research and go more depth into the subject you're studying.
All the topics that we have, there's a listening and speaking element. So hotels, for example, we can FaceTime the manager of a hotel in France, ask them questions, we can FaceTime schools, just really make the languages come alive in the classroom.
So we were really pleased that we had a great conversation with academia about learning, and it gave us the confidence that we had our focus right, that the things that we were placing at the centre of it about quality resources, modelling student thinking, providing a really good assessment mechanism would be the things that would make a difference. And 5 years later, you know, we're really pleased that we're still using those same guidelines?
If you look now at how we are graded for outcomes as an academy, at our last inspection 5 months ago, outcomes was graded as outstanding. And you see seeing some massive improvements, and to add to that, the grade for teaching, learning and assessment is also outstanding.